The Majority Leader, Honorable Juan Miguel Zubiri, will now deliver his eulogy.
To the Ponce Enrile family, Ma'am Katrina, and all the children, grandchildren, nephews, nieces, my deepest condolences. To former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, to Senate President Tito Soto, to all my colleagues in the Senate. It is hard to believe that the beloved Manong Johnny, the former Senate President, Juan Ponce Enrile, is truly gone. He remained so vital, so present, so relevant to the nation up to his last days. And it was no stretch of the imagination to believe that he would outlive us all and be around forever. As a matter of fact, he probably was the oldest secretary ever to hold office. I think the Guinness Book of World Records should give him that distinction. Just last year, he was here with us to receive our Senate resolution honoring him for his life's work. He was over 100 years old, already wheelchair-bound, but his mind was as sharp as ever, and he gave an insightful and inspiring message of gratitude. No script, no preparation, and it was a moment to behold when we listened to him give his acceptance speech. 1 year later, here we are, honoring him again, one last time, for this singularly brilliant man. Manong Johnny was, with no exaggeration, a giant among us. We learn our history, he lived it, shaped it even. We dream of change, he led a coup that paved the way for a revolution. He was never one to sit and watch history unfold as he turned the pages himself. It is hard to imagine that this country would look like without Manong Johnny and his maverick leadership and the sheer brilliance of the good senator. Among the many hats he has worn, he was Finance Secretary, Justice Secretary, Defense Secretary, a member of the House of Representatives, a member of the Batasan Pambansa, a senator, and one of our longest-serving senators at that. And of course, we fondly know him as the Senate President that we loved. And he continued to serve his country until his last days, offering sharp and invaluable insight as the Chief Presidential Legal Counsel. He is the mind behind landmark laws such as the Comprehensive Tax Reform Law, the Human Security Act, and the Philippine Competition Act, many others. And he always provided crucial legal wisdom and questioning that helped strengthen all the measures that he steered as Senate leader. But despite his towering and enduring presence in Philippine politics, he was humble and hardworking as anyone. When he was a senator, he was here every day. And he was always working, and he would always make sure that he opened the sessions. And when I was a neophyte senator back in the 14th Congress, he readily took me as majority leader when he was elected as Senate President. He believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, when I didn't believe that I could do the job of being a majority leader. And I could fondly recall that there was a day that they called me to the presidential suite of the Sofitel. And I did not know why. It was Senator Edangara who called me there. And when I came up to the presidential suite, I saw Manong Johnny, the likes of course, Senator Angara, Senator Marojas, and many other distinguished senators that were there. And I said, I'm in the presence of great leaders of the Senate. I was just in my first year, a year and a half in this institution. And it was then when they asked me to be his majority floor leader, and I said, I've just been a year old in the Senate. I'm at all with so many of these leaders. How can I be their majority leader? That was the time when Senator Drilon was there, Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, Senator Manny Villar, and many other distinguished senators at that time. And Senator Nene Pimentel and all. And he took me aside with Senator Angara. He was tapping my chest and said, "You can do it, Migs. I believe in you, and I will help you." When he said that, I was completely disarmed, and I said, "I will do my best, Mr. President." He showed me the ropes of legislation like a father to a son. And like a father to a son, he could be strict and quick to anger. We know that when we make our mistakes. But at the same time, he was comforting and understanding when he saw that you were trying your best. And I remember in that room, Senator Dick Gordon was there as well in that meeting. And more than anything, more than anything, when he was comforting and supportive, was what made him a great leader. As mentioned earlier by Senator Jinggoy, he would mentor also Senator Lito Lapid, and many of us. He was a formidable statesman, but a kind mentor. He was always generous with his time, always ready to pass his knowledge forward, and always ready to shepherd less experienced colleagues. And I'm very, very grateful to have learned under his wing. And he must have taught me well, because this is my 4th time as majority leader. And, he didn't make my work very difficult. I did not have to make necessary motions on the floor, because he would rule so well in the rostrum that nobody else could question his ruling. And that was it. And we continued the day. I treasure my memories of our Senate caucuses with Senate President Enrile. I would remember Senator Lacson, Senator Honasan, myself, and many other senators would sit in the Senate President's lounge upstairs when he would talk about his previous experiences and the discussions that we had on the floor. And he would say, if we would try to amend the law, like the Immigration Act, which was a 1935 law, and several other laws, he would tell us, "I know that law because I helped craft that law many, many years ago, 50 years ago." And he would explain to us the rationale of each and every law. And we were grateful to him for all that experience he was sharing with us. He called it, and my dear colleagues, his brilliance. We were trying to absorb the legal brilliance and his deep institutional knowledge. And I would think, here's a man who has seen it all and lived it all. And still in 2011, I was surprised when he said, and this was during my resignation in 2011, from the rostrum, he couldn't believe that I was going to resign. I think it was the first time a senator ever resigned out of delicadeza. He called it a rare show of moral courage, saying it was the first time in his memory that a senator showed honor ahead of himself. I was humbled and grateful to hear those kind words, and they continue to guide me to this day. Honor before self, bayon bago sarili. To Ma'am Christina, Jack, Katrina, and all of Manong Johnny's loved ones, my heart is with you. Thank you for sharing Manong Johnny with us. We in the Senate will always uphold his legacy of service, and we promise that. To end my eulogy, I would just like to quote the last 2 stanzas of one of Manong Johnny's favorite poems, and I know that he used to like the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, Tito Dick, is because he used to carry that booklet with him everywhere he'd go. And whenever I'd go up to the rostrum, he would be reading it and writing notes on the side. I think that should be put in a museum, because he wrote a lot of notes on the side of that beautiful little book. And to end, I would just like to quote the last 2 stanzas of a poem from William Ernst C. Henley called Invictus. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am master of my faith, and I'm captain of my soul. Indeed, Manong Johnny was the master of his fate and the captain of his soul. Once again, my deepest condolences to the Ponce Enrile family.
Thank you.